today is San Diego's News Channel 15.
All rise. Hear ye, hear ye. This court is now in session. Honorable Judge Harold Randolph presiding. Be seated.
This is it, Dr. Collins. I've given you my best advice. I hope you take it. Doc, I love you.
I love you too. Felicia. I love you.
All right. Kevin Collins, you're charged with the harassment, kidnapping, and the unlawful imprisonment of the complainant, Felicia Jones. How do you plead?
Long after midnight, you know I can't sleep. Been tossing and turning and twisting the sheets. You started something, and if you can see, now you gotta come and finish what.
It's me. Don't talk, just listen. I'll sign your 3-year contract, so you can reassure all interested parties that I'm back at the helm and ELQ is stabilized. I'll stick around long enough to clean up this mess at ELQ. I said, listen. I want you to know something else. As far as I'm concerned, this contract is nothing but a piece of paper that can be thrown away at any time I choose. Set up a board meeting tonight to make it official. Yes, tonight. I want to get this thing done.
There you go. You're welcome.
Hey, it's me and you.
It's my itinerary. All the places that you're not gonna be. Maybe I should cancel.
Dr. Collins, are you prepared to enter a plea?
Yes, Your Honor. Not guilty.
Oh, no! You dare do that to me again.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he said.
This is outrageous!
Take your seat.
You'll listen and everybody knows about it.
I'm going to have this girl declared as
We'll come out in time.
Can't control it.
Stop it now.
You're not going to do our case any good by coming off as hysterical, so would you please sit down and get control of yourself? Nice touch. Very dramatic. But do me a favor. Don't ever surprise me like that again.
Your Honor, I'm requesting that my client be released on his own recognizance.
No chance, Counselor. I will fight that one to the wire.
Your prerogative. Counsel's objections notwithstanding, I submit my client has never before been accused of a crime. He is a prominent member of the Port Charles community, a highly regarded doctor on staff at General Hospital. He poses no flight risk.
Because you say so? Your Honor, this man has spent months terrorizing Felicia Jones in a pattern of increasing violence. We are convinced that if he's allowed to roam free, this pattern will continue and progress to a sadly inevitable conclusion. So not only do I vehemently oppose OR for this defendant, but I am requesting that you deny him bail altogether and hold him over until time of trial.
Do you have evidence to support your bail opposition?
I do. As of this morning, Dr. Collins was still stalking Miss Jones.
I thought you were looking forward to going on this tour.
I was.
Oh, Ned and Lois.
What, you think I'm being silly?
No, no, you're being the terrific friend that you are. But maybe your concern is being misplaced. Maybe you're projecting their separation onto ours, but it's not the same thing.
Well, I know that. It's just, I cannot believe this is happening to them. I mean, I've never, ever known two people who were more in love in my life.
Yeah, maybe. Even so, Lois made a decision and Ned's evidently accepted it. I mean, we mightn't agree with it, but it really has nothing to do with us.
You know, I'm realizing right now how much I'm really gonna miss you. How lonely I'm gonna be without you.
More of a connection than you anticipated.
Maybe.
I'll let you in on a little secret. That was kind of the idea behind the suggestion about becoming my wife.
And that's why I became your wife.
Mm-hmm.
I am married to you. I feel married to you. You're my partner. Oh, I think we've actually been together long enough where I'm starting to count on little things.
Yeah. Like the feel of your breath on my back in the mornings. Or the way we fall asleep all cuddled up. After we've made incredible love.
I don't even think I remember what it's like to sleep without you anymore. What if I can't sleep? I mean, what if I just sit up all night long because I can't sleep and I wake up with bags under my eyes every morning because I miss you so much? I'm not gonna do that to myself. I am mature and I'm professional. I am new and improved. I'm gonna do this. I have a contract with Lucy. I have an obligation, and you have to go do all of your mega deals or whatever it is you're gonna do while I'm gone. I mean, we're a two-person entity, right? We have our lives apart, and we have our lives together, and that's the way it should be. I mean, that's why God invented the phone, right? Is that good?
That was a disgustingly adult perspective. But you know what? There is no way I'm letting you go more than 3 days without seeing you.
Really?
Yeah, I planned on it all along.
Well, thanks for telling me. 3 days? Okay, well, let's see here then. In 3 days, I will be in New Orleans. We'll be in New Orleans together. I've always wanted to go to New Orleans.
The city that never sleeps. You'll love it. There is this great oyster bar in the French Quarters.
Oh, of course there is. You've tried every oyster bar in the world.
Hell, I gave my best shot.
Will you make me a promise?
Anything.
Every night before we go to sleep, one of us has to call the other one. So that'll be the last voices we hear before we go to bed.
I promise.
Is this a bad time? I thought I'd take a chance.
Come in. What can I do for you, Sonny?
Well, I was wondering about Lois. Last time I saw her, she was leaving the hospital.
She's much better. Thanks for asking.
Good, good. Justice explained to me about EOQ, the situation. For what it's worth, you can count on my support.
It's worth a lot, and I appreciate it.
I was never comfortable with what went down. Stripping you of your title was a foolish move on Edward's part. I spoke to him, by the way, and he gave me the impression you haven't exactly signed on a dotted line.
You'll probably have a message waiting for you. There's a board meeting tonight to make it official.
All right.
Since you're here, there's something else I'd like to talk to you about.
Shoot.
If you really want to see ELQ bounce back, you'll resign your seat on the board.
We were going so well there, Ned, for a minute. Why'd you go and ruin it?
Well, I'm not expecting something for nothing. I understand legitimacy is a valuable commodity for you, and I make no judgment on that. In fact, I think I can help you.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
There's a small but profitable ELQ subsidiary that I'd be willing to exchange for your stock. It's worth a hell of a lot more than $3 million.
Ah, but less than 60, I bet.
Seems fair to me. It provides you with a legitimate cover, and ELQ gets to make up a point in the minus column.
I don't know, Ned. You know, I've grown kind of fond of my little board seat. It's kind of like being a member of this exclusive club. But I tell you what, you bring by the specs of the company, and I'll take a look.
Terrific.
Okay? You know, I don't want to push, but you want to give me a little hint as to what kind of business I'd be in?
Does it matter?
It matters to me.
It's a paper mill.
Oh, wow, that sounds exciting.
Well, I would think that your other line of work would provide enough of that.
Oh, good one.
One more thing.
Yeah?
Thanks to my mother and Jack's, I'm looking at some serious damage control tonight. You've already offered your vote. There's no reason to fuel the fire, not to mention subjecting you to the bedlam that usually characterizes any ELQ board meeting. Why don't you let me have your proxy?
You want the shirt off my back while you're at it?
Explain yourself, Counselor.
Just this morning, Felicia Jones received a phone call from the defendant, the purpose of which I think you will find very interesting. He said he wanted to reassure her of his intention to plead guilty at today's hearing. He said he didn't want to put her through any more torment, which, I might add, is tantamount to an admission. And now he has the hubris to stand here in court and add insult to injury by throwing that promise back in her face as if this were all a big joke.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop you here. Your Honor, my client has a constitutional right to plead however he chooses.
Excuse me, may I be allowed to finish?
Sidebar. Both of you.
Doc, I only have one thing to say. I am sitting here filled with so much love for you. I don't know where to put it all.
I don't know what I'd do without you either, Lucy.
You'll never have to know.
You know, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually feel sorry for Lucy.
Generally or specifically?
Look at her over there, all alone, being ostracized, and why? Because she decides to stand behind the man that she loves? It really seems unfair.
Do you think I'm shutting her out?
No, not intentionally. But you need to remain neutral. As if you could. Look, if Felicia has Tom to hold her hand and shoot dirty looks over at Kevin. I know how Lucy feels. You'll be all right here without me, won't you?
Only if I have to.
There's no conceivable reason why my client should plead guilty to things that he doesn't remember doing.
Oh, can't you just see that one coming? Poor Dr. Collins is insane and therefore not responsible. He needs help. Why don't we just ship him away to some cushy sanitarium for 6 months or so? And what about Felicia Jones? She'll just get over it, right? Until he's back on the street and harassing her again.
Your passion is impressive, Miss Johnson, but I would appreciate it if you wouldn't try my case for me.
Ladies, please. We're addressing the matter of bail. I suggest we stick to that.
Your Honor, my position has not changed. And since Dr. Collins cannot stop himself even from the confines of jail, I respectfully request a denial of bail.
Your Honor, the plaintiff is blowing this completely out of proportion. What happened this morning was a result of a telephone service called call forwarding. Dr. Collins was trying to reach Commissioner Scorpio, who had had his calls transferred to his office in the Outback. Miss Jones happened to answer the phone. Unfortunate timing, to be sure, but certainly not a preconceived stalking incident on the part of my client. And whatever he did say or didn't say about his plea has absolutely no bearing on anything.
I'll have to agree with you on that point. And I do want to hear testimony to support your request.
I have witnesses.
Then shall we proceed?
Are you up to testifying? Now? Yep, because you're on. Okay.
The state calls Felicia Jones to the stand.
Presenting. Well, suit yourself. I just thought I'd spare you another corporate evening from hell.
Truthfully, I'd rather have gun work than sit through another EOQ board meeting. Proxy's yours, at least for tonight anyway.
Well, I appreciate it.
What are you gonna do about Jax and Tracy?
Dispatch them.
I like that word. It has a nice, crisp, final sound.
Okay, about your stock.
No promises. I'm gonna run it by Jason. If he's cool with it, then I'll think about it.
I can speak to him if you think it'll help.
I think I'm capable of speaking to Jason on my own there, Ned. Okay, I'll get back to you.
Sooner's better.
It always is. Now, if she's up to it, I'd like to see Lois.
Hope the little woman isn't at home. We have things to discuss.
What if she were?
Well, she could listen. It's strictly business unless you have something better in mind.
Know this, Tracy. I'd rather be dead.
Thank you. Your loss. Well, we have to discuss our next move. You got the call about the board meeting?
Yes. And I plan to attend. But as far as you're concerned, there is no we. You're on your own, Tracy.
After you received Dr. Collins' phone call this morning, how did you feel?
Terrified. Horrified. The same way that I've been feeling for months.
Did Dr. Collins always inspire these feelings of fear in you?
No. He was my friend. And that's the worst part about it. He was my friend and I trusted him. I let him into my house. He had access to my children. And not only did I give him the benefit of the doubt when he first came to this town, I defended him to all the people that didn't want to hear it. And the fact that he threw it all back in my face in such a horrible way makes me really question my own judgment. And this morning, the telephone call from him, I guess harassing me and stalking me wasn't enough.
It sounds like your life has been greatly affected by what's happened.
You know, I haven't really had a life. I haven't had a life for a very long time. What I've been is a puppet, and he's been pulling my strings. He forced my children out of town. He made copies of conversations that I had with them and used that to frighten me. But mostly, I resent it. I'm sorry.
We understand how painful it must be.
No, you don't. Not unless you've been someone's victim. And it's happened to me 3 times. A man with his face. And if I've learned anything from this, it's that you cannot control somebody's existence without having to pay for it.
Thank you, Miss Jones.
Miss Davis?
Nothing for this witness.
You may take your seat, Ms. Jones. Anyone else?
No, Your Honor.
I'd like to call a witness, Your Honor. I do have that right.
Move along, Mercedes.
Since the question before the court is whether or not Dr. Collins represents a danger to himself or others, and his freedom of movement will be based on that, I would like to hear from an expert. The defense calls Dr. Tom Hardy.
I'm currently overseeing the psychiatric department at General Hospital in Dr. Collins' absence. I have my own practice, and I do forensic psychology for the PCPD.
You know the defendant.
I do.
How would you characterize your relationship?
Boss, colleague,
Friend?
friendly, yes.
Do you think Dr. Collins is a good psychiatrist?
Excellent.
Would you say that he's been of help to people?
Yes,
To a fair, to a large degree.
to a large degree. Dr. Collins is gifted.
Have you had cause to become alarmed over Dr. Collins' behavior in recent weeks?
Yes.
You were a witness to incidents in which he acted uncharacteristically?
For the man I knew him to be, yes.
And now?
Now.
Do you think Dr. Collins is capable of violent behavior now?
I do believe at one time.
I'm not interested in before, Dr. Hardy. I'm interested in here, today, in your professional capacity. Do you think that the Dr. Collins who sits in front of you is the same man who caused you such alarm? Or would you say that his crisis, or whatever it may have been, is behind him?
I'm not the one who can answer those questions.
Really? I'm sorry, perhaps your confusion is my fault. Let me see if I can simplify this for you. If Dr. Collins were your patient, would you recommend that he be incarcerated in, say, a violent ward of a mental hospital?
Again, he's not my patient.
Humor me, Dr. Hardy. There's this make-believe that we lawyers like to indulge in. It's called hypothetical. And it's loud.
Answer the question, Dr. Hardy.
No, I wouldn't recommend that kind of commitment.
You wouldn't batten down the hatches if Dr. Collins were released until time of trial.
No, I think...
Why is that?
I think Dr. Collins has had a psychotic breakdown of some kind. He may or may not be past it. He still needs help.
In other words, you don't consider him dangerous?
Not at this time.
Am I interrupting?
No, we're finished.
No, not quite. I want to see Lois.
Listen, I wanted to drop off my itinerary for you, okay? And I'm gonna pick up some L&B stuff.
You going somewhere?
Yeah, promo tour.
I'll miss you.
I miss you too. Listen, if you need me for anything, I'm a phone call away, all right? I don't want you to forget that.
Thank you. Don't be surprised if I take you up on it. Okay. We'll have to get to the house.
What about Lois? Can I see her?
Why don't you go ahead and I'll tell him.
Tell me what?
I suppose everyone will know eventually. I'll get you that information first thing in the morning, sir.
Yeah, you do. What? What is it? Is it the baby?
No, the baby's fine. Lois is gone.
What do you mean she's gone?
She left for Bensonhurst.
Till the baby's born?
No, for good. Lois and Ned broke up. I don't think he really understands the finality yet of that, but...
Wait a minute. Back up a minute. What the hell is happening?
Well, Tracy Quartermain is happening. You know, Lois was upset, and she was afraid that the way she felt about Tracy would end up hurting the baby.
Come on, Brenda. Lois is a fighter. She'd wipe the floor with Tracy.
I know, but it's not just Tracy. It's all of the Quartermains. You know, the Quartermain way of life is not what she wants for her child.
Well, I don't blame her for that, but I don't believe for 1 minute Ned would just let her go.
Well, that's what I just said. He doesn't realize the finality of the situation yet.
Okay, so you're telling me that this thing with Tracy is the final straw?
Yeah, pretty much. Sonny, ELQ's going under. I mean, did you really think that Ned was going to sit back and watch that happen? And you know how smart Lois is. She knows him really well. And she knows that the bottom line is it's always going to come back down to his family and ELQ.
Which means she's probably sobbing her eyes out in her own room in Bensonhurst while Tracy and her partner, the two people who set this thing in motion, think they're about to laugh their way to the bank.
Listen, Jax never, ever purposely wanted to hurt Lois or anyone else for that matter.
You know what they say about the road to hell.
Don't get all judgmental on
not-
me. Edward left ELQ wide open. My husband is a businessman, and he is an ELQ board member. Now, why wouldn't he try and take control if he thought he could do a better job?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, given the same opportunity, you would do the same thing.
Don't use me to justify your husband's lousy
No,
business
you know what?
tactics.
Whatever. Lois made a decision. It's no one's fault. It just happened.
It must be a wonderful world you live in, Brenda. A world without responsibilities. Day-to-day existence must be easier to skate through than it is for us down here.
No. It's just a world without blame. There's a difference.
You keep telling yourself that. You actually might believe it one day.
On my own, you can't do that.
I just did.
We have a deal.
Yes, a business deal. But you couldn't let it just be that. You had to make it personal.
They're my family. How could it be anything but personal?
Remember what I said to you in the beginning, Tracy? You're gonna have to compartmentalize. But you can manage that because you got jealous of Lois and her baby. Now we all have to deal with the consequences. I hope whatever satisfaction you got out of hurting Lois was worth it.
That girl is insignificant to me.
Well, then you should have acted like it. Instead, you let besting her become more important than discretion. You let your guard down. You gave everybody time to figure out what was happening and regroup. Now, Ned's back as CEO, more determined than ever because he has anger for motivation. And he has the support of the entire board, including Sonny, I'm willing to bet. Nice partner you turned out to be.
You're acting like this is over. It's not. So they found us out. It doesn't mean that they can stop us.
Tracy, you can't sneak up on someone once you've blown a trumpet announcing your arrival. This round is lost. And the next I take alone. So cut your losses and go home.
This is my home. Oh, boy, this is rich. You of all people acting so self-righteous, well, the way I see it, you're gonna sink as low as everyone else.
Goodbye, Tracy.
Dr. Hardy, I sympathize with your position. Being called with no advanced warning to testify in a case involving people you know really well must make for a really difficult afternoon.
I'm not having fun, if that's what you mean.
Dr. Hardy, have you ever acted as Dr. Collins' psychiatrist?
No.
Were you with Miss Jones at the Outback this morning when she received this call?
Yes?
Would you please describe her reaction to the court?
Well, she was shocked. She was upset. I mean, just hearing his voice made her agitated.
And after she got over the initial shock, did she seem hopeful?
What do you mean, hopeful?
Well, did it seem as though she thought maybe her ordeal would be over?
Well, Dr. Collins had told me that he was going to plead guilty, so naturally she thought the end was in sight.
And were you surprised when Dr. Collins made his plea?
How many times do I have to say this? Your Honor, his plea has no bearing on
Withdrawn. Dr. Hardy, you stated that you've never treated Dr. Collins.
Correct.
Then you cannot testify with any real authority as to his state of mind, current or otherwise.
No, I can't. Ms. Davis asked for my opinion, and I gave it.
But that's all it was. Right, Dr. Hardy? I mean, you're not in any position to say with any real certainty what Dr. Collins is and is not capable of.
I have no idea.
How's Lois?
Fine.
Good. Glad to hear it. She gave us quite a scare there.
I can't understand why you insisted on a formal vote tonight. What's all the fired up rush anyway? Everybody's on board. You're back on as CEO. Why?
I want to make it official so we can move ahead.
Smart move.
And to that end, I have Sonny's proxy.
Oh, splendid.
I also think I've convinced him to resign his seat on the board and sell us back his stock.
Jason around?
No.
No, he was supposed to meet me.
Hey, have a seat. Man, you look like you just witnessed a very bad accident.
An accident in the making. His name is Jax.
Huh. Well, I wonder why that doesn't surprise me.
You know, this guy is an operator. He comes on slick and smooth as silk, and he's all cobra underneath.
There seems to be a lot of that going around town these days. I mean, so what did he do?
Recently? Let's see. He teamed up with Tracy in a takeover attempt aimed at EOQ, where I currently have a seat on the board, in case you didn't know. Between the two of them, they've managed to run Lois, my friend Lois, out of town permanently, from what I understand.
Wait a minute. She left Ned?
That's right.
And you care? No, I know you care about Lois, but, Ned.
Mike, Ned might not be my favorite person in the world, but he deserves to have his wife and child with him.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm not going to argue that point with you, but well, where does Brenda fall into this mix? I mean, she's got to be furious with Jack.
No, see, that's the thing. She's trying to find 100 ways to try to defend this guy. She's decided that loyalty is everything, and she refuses to see him for what he really is.
Yeah. Well, you did mention that she's happy with Jax.
Yeah, she wants to be, and she's ignoring the obvious, and the beat goes on. You know what Ned tried to do? He made an offer designed to get me off the board. Me. Jax is undermining the whole corporation. But I'm bad for business. What a joke, huh?
You know, I always thought there was something untrustworthy about Jax.
Yeah? You never said anything.
Yeah, you never asked.
Well, I'm asking now. What's your take on him?
He's got charm, you know. I mean, that's his weapon. He can smile or glib his way into any given situation, and while everyone is still wiping stardust out of their eyes, he's dismantled whatever it was he came for, and the guy's moved on. Still smelling of expensive aftershave. It's just a shame that Brenda's been taken in. Maybe she's blinded by love.
If Brenda wants to believe in someone bad enough, she'll convince herself that that person walks on water. I should know. All I'm saying there, Mike, is she's opening herself up for a lot of pain.
Yeah. And that's a shame, isn't it?
Damn straight. And you can't pay him enough to believe Jax is going to give up on EOQ. He'll find another way in. But until I decide to vacate my seat on the board or sell my stocks, I have a vested interest here.
So what are you going to do about it?
I spoke to Sonny myself about resigning his seat on the board, and to say he wasn't interested would be an understatement.
What'd you have to do, resort to blackmail?
Maybe I caught him on a good day.
So, what's it going to cost us to get rid of him?
That little paper mill in Pennsylvania.
Huh? I like that mill.
will get over grandfather because that's what he needs.
Oh, my. Somebody got up on the wrong side of bed this morning. In any event, that was very good work. Now, if we could just find a way to make the other interloper disappear.
Suddenly, I'm not so sure how to let you go.
Hey, we're gonna be together every 3 days, right?
Yeah, not to mention those intimate nightly phone calls.
We talked dirty, didn't we?
It's a very real possibility.
Ah, all right. I'm gonna be able to get through this.
Will you see Robin?
Yes, and Lois too.
I'll give them both my love.
I will. I feel like I'm losing everyone.
Yeah, well, not me. Not ever. And only physically when it comes to Lois and Robin.
I'm gonna miss you.
Never? Well, shouldn't we get you off to the airport?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you have that board meeting, huh? No, you go ahead. I'll be fine. They think that was incredibly unselfish of me.
Yeah, I stand in awe.
Me too. Hey, thank you for being in my life.
Dr. Collins is a man caught in an astonishing set of circumstances. To all outward appearances, he seems to be in complete control of his faculties. However, I cannot forget that the same held true throughout the months of the alleged stalking. And in light of this morning's incident, I would not feel easy in placing Ms. Jones in potential jeopardy. If half of the documented evidence is true, she at least deserves some peace of mind. Therefore, I'm denying bail, and the defendant will be remanded into custody until such time as this matter goes to trial. Oh, and Dr. Collins, another stunt like this morning, and your telephone privileges will be permanently revoked. The court is adjourned.
All rise.
I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry, Lucy. Are you gonna be all right?
Fine. Thanks. Go.
The judge denied bail, but it's just an opening volley. I have no intention of giving up.
Any press?
Everywhere.
Excellent.
By the way, this is a fascinating case. I'm looking forward to defending it.
I knew you'd feel that way.
I'll see you later.
Well, you know where to find me.
I want you to try not to be discouraged. I know that's hard for you to do and easy for me to say.
You know, you said that bail was probably a long shot, but I couldn't help hoping.
I'm gonna fight for him, Lucy. You can count on that.
I believe you. Thanks.
I'll be in touch. Unless you're on your way out.
Yeah. You know, there's no reason to hang around this depressing place.